Welcome to the Car Guys. This week we've got part 2 of the Car Guys Garage Grand Tour. We're going to take you through some more gems in the collection, including this beautiful Valentino Balboni Gallardo, this 458 Italia, this 360 Challenge Stradale, and this 458 Speciale Aperta, along with many more. Yeah, we're still going, still more cars to get through. I actually can't believe there are this many cars.
And we've got more as well, elsewhere, which we'll have to do different
ridiculous.
days. So
we're going to have to get rid of some of them, this is crazy. And if you saw our video on buying a classic 911, you will recognise this Supersport Targa. It's proper bad boy spec, it's utterly gorgeous looking, and it was one of the cars that we purchased on the same day as the 1988 3.2 Carrera.
it's a great car. I mean, the stance on this is absolutely spot on. The other Carrera's stance isn't quite as good as this. This has got nicely tucked wheels. It drives fantastic, apart from that dodgy gearbox, which is, you have to let it go into gear when it fancies going into gear. You can't force it, because otherwise it just crunches and graunches and doesn't get in there. It's a brilliant car to drive. It smells like an old car. You've got that oil and petrol smell in there, which is absolutely lovely every time you get in it. Because
it's leaking oil and petrol.
Because it's leaking oil and petrol. Targa version, obviously, so you can take this off, roof collapses and that still works, straight into the boot. It does get a bit wobbly from a chassis point of view once the roof comes off, but other than that, this is this is a great example and looks tremendous in black when it's cleaned. This is probably one of my favourite cars, not least because it's a Gallardo, which are just a lovely shape. I mean, it's a beautiful looking thing, but because this is a Valentino Balboni Gallardo, it's rear-wheel drive only, and it is absolutely terrifying. This car shimmies and moves around on the road like you would not believe, and it still packs a massive punch. I mean, we did an in-gear acceleration test against the Performante, and this thing walked away from it.
This won. This beat the Performante. Limited to only 250 units. It's also particularly cool. This one, you can see, it's in black, but it's got a gold and white stripe which runs all the way over the car and through the car.
And through the car, through the dash.
People of a certain age will recognise this sort of colour scheme as John Player Special.
Oh, lovely.
Exactly.
Hey?
See?
Oh, makes you want to take up smoking. No, kids don't do that.
So of the 250 that were made, it is believed that less than 10 are right-hand drive manual cars. In fact, this may be the only black right-hand drive manual car in the world.
This for me is is a real proper hang on for your dear life type cars.
Yeah, and you're talking a V10 engine, rear wheel drive only. It absolutely bellows and it seriously shifts, but that short wheelbase makes it a twitchy son of a bitch.
Makes it very twitchy, but a fantastic car nonetheless.
Regular viewers of the channel will recognise this 1988 3.2 Carrera.
As my 1988 3.2 Carrera.
Exactly so.
However, we did make a decision a while ago that this is actually probably too nice to be tooling around in, so we swapped. So I'm tooling around in the other one, but this is a stunning example. 19,000 miles from new.
18,000.
18,000 from new. I mean, it's just an amazing car.
It's mint condition. Everything about it is in pristine order, so it is a stunning car. We decided to get into Porsche, having listened to far too much Jerry Seinfeld and Spike Feresten and Paul Zuckerman. So we listened to too much of them. They infected us with this 911 enthusiasm, which then caused us to go out and start buying them, as you do. And this was one of the first ones. So I think what we've learned from this, although this is a great car and you're not going to find a better example in the world, for me, I think it's probably the 930 Turbo, the hairy turbo, which is probably more my kind of thing. I think that's where I'll go for this. So I'm currently sort of looking at maybe chopping this in against something else, or selling it outright. But I think this one will go fairly soon and be replaced with either a period sort of late 80s turbo, or possibly something newer. Original Honda NSX, 1991, one of the first cars into the UK. So it's a right-hand drive and obviously again, manual gearbox.
One of the nicest gearboxes you will ever have the pleasure of using. The car itself is brilliant. I mean, it's got a VTEC engine, right? So literally
screams.
Nothing happens before 6,000 RPM. And then after that, all hell breaks loose and it really takes off. But I mean, it still handles really well, even for the period. You think, oh, it's got a few quirks, it's going to be a bit bouncy, or it's not going to quite do what you want it to do. But actually, it handles really well.
Yeah.
Big long tail on it, which you're conscious of when you're driving it. You do feel like you're towing something because there's so much of it behind you. But yeah, I mean, what a fabulous car. Tuned by the man himself, allegedly.
Benito Mussolini?
So I think so, yeah, very nice it was too.
So yeah, you've got to rev the nuts off it really to get the performance, but the handling of it is sublime. It's a very relaxed, lovely place to be. Seats are comfortable. It's a Honda, so you know it's not going to ever go wrong.
Starts every day.
Starts every day, except if you haven't got the battery in. I'd spent 15 years looking for this spec NSX. So an original early car with the flip-up headlights, silver, black roof, manual, right-hand drive. So I spent a hell of a long time trying to find it, and then finally I did. And it was in a garage that I'd just bought another car from. So I had one of those wobbly moments, and I bought a Jaguar XJ40. Don't ask me why. I just did.
Because I wasn't there.
Oh yeah, that's right, you weren't. Jason was on holiday. I bought a Jaguar XJ40. It was a mint condition one, it was lovely, but about 3 weeks later, this turned up at that same dealership. So I phoned him up immediately, said, I've got to have it, I must have this car, and I chopped in the XJ40 against it.
Swapped it.
Yeah, swapped it.
Best move ever.
Yes, it was.
This is a 360 Challenge Stradale in silver with the stripe. There aren't very many silver cars at all. This is particularly rare, and this was quite an impulse buy. We'd taken a trip down to Meridian Ferrari and we were having a look around as you do, and this beauty was sitting there and it just captivated us, and we just couldn't, you know, in the end we had to get it, had to be part of the collection.
They're always in red, these cars. Everywhere
Always.
you see them, they're red, and to suddenly see one in silver with that stripe, it just floored us completely.
Yeah.
And it picks out the lines, it just picks out the details of the car beautifully. I've just come back from a 2,000-mile road trip in this car, thrashing it all around Scotland, the Tartan Florio. There's a video of that on our channel if you want to check it out, but it performed absolutely amazing. And the key thing about the Challenge Stradale is it has one of the greatest exhaust engine noises of all time. It's at least in the top three of all time.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
But it is a race car essentially, so on the road it's pretty harsh and very raw, but it's incredibly amazing fun. So I mean, it's a hidden gem. Values of these haven't really shot up like a lot of the other limited Ferraris, and so these are actually quite affordable. Here it is, folks. This is the F12 TDF, one of Ferrari's absolute greatest ever cars, limited to just 799 in the world. This one is in triple layer yellow, because we like to go around incognito. Yeah. It's also got a black stripe across the bonnet. I mean, it's just the business, isn't it?
Well, because people think it's a Bumblebee, then they don't even recognise it.
A lot of people do believe that this is in Transformers.
Yeah, those people are dead to us. This truly is one of the greatest cars. I mean, the noise, the power, the handling,
everything.
It's just...
There's no weak link with this car, basically, apart from its tendency to want to kill you. But you just have to live with that. That's the price, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the price. Oh, and that silly thing on the passenger side dashboard, which is absolutely ridiculous. But other than that, as a piece of machinery, it's amazing how it's a different experience from the driver's side to the passenger side as well. So on the passenger side, it's utterly terrifying. Feels like it's the size of a small lorry. But then when you swap sides and you sit on the driver's side, the car completely wraps around you, and it actually feels so much smaller than it really is. And it's really not small, because you know you can see it parked next to an old school 911, and this thing absolutely swamps it. Probably just seen our video, which is on the channel, that we've done on our full review on this. Go and check it out if you haven't, and you'll get our impressions.
Looky what we have here. A bit of a quirky choice. This is my 1995 Honda Prelude VTEC. It's a manual car. What the hell's it doing in the collection? Well, I like to think that we come up with quirky and eclectic choices as well as just supercars. And this was a car that I drove in 1994 and I absolutely loved it, and it's kind of stayed with me ever since. I've always sort of thought about it and wanted one. This one came up from a Honda collector. What I like about it is it's got a super space age Star Trek dashboard. So a digital dashboard back in the mid-90s, which was incredibly futuristic. It's also got rear wheel steering, again an innovation back then for a road car like this, and it handles and rides really well. So it might not be to everyone's tastes, but these cars generally get modified the shit out of, so you'll get a lot of Fast and Furious action going on with these. So to find an unmolested example is very difficult. It's just a lovely car to drive.
Yeah, because it's that standard Honda thing, right? It just works when you just want it to work. All the controls are tactile. They all give you feedback or you want them to give them feedback. It's not the prettiest thing in the entire world, but it's got all the right components, which is a fantastic VTEC engine. And this is when VTECs were absolutely at their height.
Yeah.
It's got a great gearbox feel, great steering, and it's just, yeah, it's a brilliant little car.
And remember, Honda were very much in Formula One at this time as well, so a lot of that technology went into their road cars. This is a great daily driver, so it is one of the dailies, but I've got quite a soft spot for this one. This is the 458 Speciale Aperta. I got this car in 2015. I was invited to buy it by Ferrari, as indeed all of the 499 recipients of this Aperta were asked to do. I spec'd the car. I then actually collected it from the factory, so flew down to Italy and drove it back all across Italy, Switzerland and France. So this is a very special car to me. It's in Giallo Triple Strato. It also has the Nart stripe on it, which I particularly like. It's got a lovely blue stripe, and in the sun this thing just shines. Aperta means open in Italian, so this is the Spider version of the 458, and that obviously means you get the glorious V8 engine singing to 9,000 RPM, and you get it right in your ear hole.
Yeah, it's brilliant to drive as well. It feels that's that step on from the 458. It just feels a little bit tighter and much more. Even though it's a Spider, the Spider doesn't actually seem to make any difference to the way the car handles, which is really nice. Yeah. I love that blue. I love the way that the blue disappears into the back of the car as well. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it really is one of the better looking cars. Yellow stripes down the middle of the seats, which is brilliant. Really nice to drive. And I think we'll have a video on this coming soon.
You've got yellow stitching as well, which complements the exterior colour. Downside is that that's all you can see in the windscreen. But same with the McLaren actually. All you can see is the stitching. So if you're thinking about speccing a car and you're thinking about going for contrasting stitching, always bear in mind that that's all you will ever see out of the windscreen on a sunny day.
Yes.
And here we have the last car, just back from a service, which is why Jason's not here to introduce it as well. This is the 458 Italia in Bianco Fuji, which is a pearlescent white with a grey roof, which helps make it a lot lower. It's the same thing I've done with my 488. This is a truly beautiful car. You don't see many Ferraris in white, much less this pearlescent triple layer. It absolutely shines in the sun, as you can see. It's got the diamond cut wheels. Inside you've got lovely sports seats, you've got white stitching to pick out on the dashboard, and you've got just about the right carbon fibre. It's a super classy car, this one, and as you'll have heard me say in the Seen Through Glass video, buying this car brand new, which was my first ever brand new Ferrari that I purchased, this then gave the green light to Ferrari to offer me the 458 Speciale Aperta. And so this is a very special car because it was a gateway to that beautiful yellow car. I've done 14,000 miles in it. This has been as close to a daily Ferrari as you can pretty much get. I absolutely love it. I would find this very hard to let go of. It's a very special car in the collection. It's a bit of a workhorse, but what a beautiful one. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, leave likes and comments. If you do, we massively appreciate it, and it helps us make better videos in the future. We'll be back for more videos soon.